What's up? What's up? It's your man Jimmy Chan. All right, so here we're going to be talking about circles. So the standard form is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared is equal to r squared. And the r stands for the radius, while the h comma k stands for the center. So it's x minus h, y minus k, hk stands for the center. Now, if we were to FOIL this out, combine like terms, and do all of that, we would get the so-called general form, right? So from the standard form to the general form, all we have to do is FOIL, combine like terms, and then we would have the general form, which is x squared plus y squared plus ax plus by plus c is equal to 0. Now, a couple of things. If you notice that in front of the x squared, there's a 1. In front of y squared, there's also a 1. So realize that the coefficient of the x squared and the y squared are both 1. And in the general form, if we wanted to know what the center is and what the radius is, we would need to get this into standard form. In order to do that, you have to use completing the square. So let's take for example. So for example, let's say I'm using 3x squared plus y squared minus 24x plus 12y minus 15 is equal to 0. So with completing the square, the main thing is that the a has to equal to 1. Oops, I forgot. I missed a point here. This should be a 3y squared. So the a has to equal 1, which is what you see right here, right? Up here in the general form is that the coefficient of x squared and the coefficient of y squared should be 1. Luckily for us, if I was to divide every single term by 3, what happens? Now I have, no more 3. I'll have x squared plus y squared minus 8x plus 4y minus 5, and that's going to equal to 0, right? So now I can see that my coefficient for the x squared is 1, and my coefficient for the y squared is also 1. All right, so you're like, when is completing the square coming into play? Well, here it goes. So let me go ahead and do this, duplicate this. So if you guys can see, I see my x squares here. Or my x's here can be done that way. And then I see my y's. Oops. Now I'm left with the rest. So if you can see, I just reordered this. I didn't change anything, right? I just reordered it so that my x's are together and my y's are together. So when we did completing a square, we want to make sure that the coefficient is 1 for the square term, right? And the next thing we did was we moved that old c over to the other side. So let's move that -5 over to the other side by adding it. And what I want to do as well is I'm going to give this some separation. So I can get rid of that, and now it becomes a 5 over to the other side. Okay? All right. So next thing I want to do is, because both the x and the y does not have a c, I'm going to go ahead and find a c for each one. So the c for the red is going to be b divided by 2 squared, which is equal to -8 divided by 2 squared, which -8 divided by 2 is negative 4 squared, which is equal to 16. So I have to add 16 to both sides. So I'm going to add 16 and add 16. And then for the blue, or for the y, I'm going to do the same thing. C is equal to b divided by 2 squared, which is 4 divided by 2 squared, which is equal to what is that? 2 squared, which is equal to a 4. So I have to add 4 on this side, and I have to add 4 on that side. All right? So what I have to do on the left side is I'm going to factor what I have now and factor what I have with a y, and that is going to equal to the sum of the 5, 16, and 4, which gives me 25. The x is going to factor out to be x minus 4 squared. And the blue is going to come out as x plus 2 squared. Okay? As you guys can see, this negative 4 came from here. This positive 2 came from here. Okay? So now that I have this, this is my so-called general form, my standard form, right? So this is my standard form. So this tells me that my center is going to be a 4, negative 2, and my radius is going to be a 5. All right? I hope that helps. Oh, actually, there's more I wanted to do. Okay? So, the other question is, how would I, if they were to add another question in here, how would I find the intercepts, right? So if I was to bring back the original problem, how would I find the intercepts, right? So to find the intercepts, we only know 2 types of intercepts, right? We know the x-intercepts, which we know is what? That the y is equal to 0, right? So if the y value is equal to 0, okay, so if we look at this, that means that this y is 0, that this y is 0, right? So what do we have left? That means I'm going to have left 3x squared minus 24x minus 15 is equal to 0. So I got a GCF of 3, leaving with x squared minus 8x minus 5 is equal to 0. I'm unable to factor here, right? You guys see that? I'm unable to factor. So I'm actually going to have to resort to like a quadratic formula, right? So let's go with x equals negative b, so positive 8, plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 5 AC all over 2 times a. So x is going to equal to 8 plus or minus the square root of 84 over 2. And when I break that down, I'm going to have 8 plus or minus 2 square root of 21 all over 2. which I have a triangle going on. So x is actually equal to 4 plus or minus square root of 21. Of 21. Okay, so there's, actually, I can't box that. So that is my x value when the y value is 0. So my two intercepts here, which is my x-intercept, so my x-intercept happens at 4 plus square root of 21, comma, 0, and 4 minus square root of 21, comma, 0. So there's my x-intercept. Okay. Now I want to find my y-intercept, which that means my x is equal to 0. Okay. So let me go ahead and grab this again. Put it down here for now. So I need to replace the x with 0. Right? So what do I have here? I'm going to have a 3y squared plus 12y minus 15 is equal to 0. GCF of 3, y squared plus 4y minus 5 is equal to 0. This is factorable, so I got y plus 5 and a y minus 1 is equal to 0. So I got y is equal to negative 5 and y is equal to 1. So my my y-intercept is going to be at 0, negative 5, and 0, 1. So there will be my intercepts right there. Okay? So at any point in time, it can always ask you for the intercepts. So please be careful and know the fact that x-intercept is y is equal to 0, y-intercept, x is equal to 0. Hope that helps. If there's any questions, please let me know. See ya. Bye.